Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 18, 2021. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting that Jamaica's economy will rebound from the fallout caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to record growth of 8.25% for the 2021-2022 fiscal year, moderating to 3.5% in 2022-2023. The projection came out in a statement on Wednesday following an IMF 2021 staff Article 4 mission consultation for Jamaica. According to the fund, Jamaica has been able to prevent a fiscal crisis due to pre-COVID buffers and a calibrated policy response to the pandemic-related shocks. But while the outlook is good, the IMF points out that risks remain, the most significant being the pandemic, as new COVID-19 waves in Jamaica or abroad could lead to a more prolonged disruption of tourism, trade, and capital flows. The upside involves a faster pace of vaccinations at home and abatement of the pandemic in Jamaica's main tourism markets. In the meantime, though, tourism has rebounded to near 70% of the pre-crisis levels, and other sectors have picked up as well. Real GDP in the second quarter of 2021 was 14.2% higher than the same period a year earlier. The International Monetary Fund is recommending that as the pandemic recedes and recovery advances, Jamaica should restart debt reduction and rebuild its buffers, which included a higher primary surplus. The fund argues that policies should also focus on boosting growth, which has been low in the last decades, enhancing institutions, and tackling the still high levels of poverty and crime. Meanwhile, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is reporting that cruise operations will resume at all ports by the end of December. He was making his presentation in Parliament earlier this week. The minister reveals that the Celebrity Equinox, Ada Diva, and Crystal Serenity cruise ships are expected to return to Falmouth later this month. The Disney Cruise Line flagship vessel, Disney Fantasy, is also scheduled to return to Falmouth in December.
And since cruise shipping resumed in August, we have welcomed over 36,000 cruise passengers, while our earnings, Madam Speaker, are now at the $1.5 billion mark. Jamaica is well on its way to recovery. It is already evident in the numbers that our new approach to our tourism offerings, born out of a COVID-19 pandemic considerations, is paying off.
Minister Bartlett says the current 60% vaccination rate among tourism workers is helping to facilitate a smooth reopening of the cruise shipping industry. Following an almost 20-month break, Falmouth welcomed its first cruise ship on Sunday, the Carnival Corporation's Emerald Princess, with more than 3,500 passengers and crew. More than 50 farmers from Bunta St. Elizabeth are now benefiting from the recently upgraded Astrojam cold storage facility in the area. The upgrade allows farmers to supply more produce to the company, which now has the capacity to stockpile thousands of pounds more of produce. Minister with responsibility for agriculture and fisheries, Audley Shaw, was on hand for the recent official opening. He says the upgrade addresses the need for the development of reliable and efficient cold chains that not only reduce crop loss, but also prevent forced low-price sales.
Of course, this is in line with the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, as these are to improve local conditions and capacities, creating better food quality at the national level to meet the standards, regulations, and market demand for both local and international markets, while ensuring our small farmers remain functional.
He says the ministry intends to advance partnerships with the private sector for the development of fully functional fresh produce and livestock transportation storage and distribution systems. This, he says, will ensure there is balance in the supply and demand of agricultural produce, thereby stabilizing market prices. The Percy Junior Hospital in Manchester has been gifted with a new operating theatre bed, boosting the facility's capacity to perform the 600 operations it does annually. Valued at $10,250, it was donated by the Rachel Dixon Memorial Fund. Senior medical officer at the hospital, Dr. Carlos Wilson, explains that the bed has become the hospital's primary and major operating theater bed, which will be used daily for emergency and elective surgeries. Founder of the Rachel Dixon Memorial Fund, Oswald Dixon, says they are committed to the health, education, and well-being of Jamaicans, hence the donation. 11 tertiary institutions that have satisfied the requirement for registration with the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, JTEC, were presented with their certification on Wednesday. They are located in St. James, Manchester, St. Anne, Kingston, and Clarendon. Commissioner of JTEC, Dr. Damian Black, says the agency's mandate is to maintain a register of all levels of tertiary education institutions and guide their processes so they may be compliant in meeting regulatory standards.
That there may be concerns about their documentation with respect to their planning, their risk management framework. It could be the whole issue of business continuity planning. It could be the extent to which they have policies in place that are rigidly adhered to or followed that guide their financial management. And so development speaks to how do we help them to get to the next phase of operations.
Mr. Black was addressing a JIS think tank on Tuesday to highlight the work of the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. JTEC was established as the regulatory body for higher education in Jamaica. Tertiary institutions are regulated against international benchmark standards. And finally, Parliament on Tuesday paid tribute to former government minister Orville D. Ramtally, who died on Sunday at age 96. Mr. Ramtally, who was a member of the Order of Distinction, served as Minister of Housing as well as Minister of State in the Ministry of Energy and Mining. He also served as Member of Parliament for Southwest and Central Clarendon. House Speaker and Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett led the remembrance, saying Mr. Ramtally added much value to the nation.
Was instrumental in building a number of communities, enriching lives and creating settlements that enabled the well-being of a number of Jamaicans to be realized.
He is a legend and somebody who was much loved. His commitment to the process of nation building through the party of his choice was unconditional and very profound.
I know his daughter and his family must be proud of the service he gave to this country. I will ask the clerk to send a card to his family expressing our condolence on his passing.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.